Hello, everybody. I am doing a reflection over the first week of my Peaceful Warrior immersion, which is just something we do at my school where we spend 4 weeks going in depth on a particular topic. The Peaceful Warrior immersion happens to be a 4 week in depth exploration into the sense of self and physical well being. So, we're doing meditation, archery, martial arts, and we're learning from some of the very best, like Reggie Ray, who's a renowned meditator, and Stephen K. Hayes, who's been in Black Belt magazines. He's a 10th Dan of the Toshindo martial art, which is like a 900-year-old Japanese martial art. The Way of the Peaceful Warrior, the movie, and my teacher, who is leading the immersion, who has learned from both Reggie Ray and Stephen K. Hayes, as well as having experiences of his own. So, this is just a reflection over what kind of I thought and picked up on over the first week of the immersion. And the first thing I picked up on was we were doing a meditation that was led by one of Reggie Ray's iTunes. But it was a Reggie Ray meditation session, and he said, the first thing he said basically was to let go of all concepts of meditation. And that he said that basically meditation is just serving an idea, and if you're holding on to a concept, and the goal is to get rid of all the ideas, because if there's no ideas, then you see the world as it is. And the next thing he said was to get rid of all the concept you had of yourselves. And like, the concepts you have of yourself are not really concepts of yourself. Well, they are, but they're also the lenses you use to see the world. So, for example, if you don't like a person and you hate them, then everything they do is going to be conceived as an insult, even if it's really not. And then my teacher also followed that, and he said to try not to judge yourself or to judge others. And it took me actually just till yesterday to realize this, but you use judgments to, your judgments are influenced by the lens that you use to view the world. So if you're viewing without judgment, then you're actually trying to just view the situation as it is. And my teacher just said to let it be, and just whatever happened, whatever is, and just leave that alone, don't judge. Because if you're judging, then it's you that's judging, not the situation that's actually happening. My teacher also said something about the martial arts teacher that we're going to, Mr. Stephen K. Hayes, that kind of struck me. And that's Mr. Hayes looks like somebody who would strengthen somebody's sense of self and just teach them to defend themselves better. And to an extent, that's what he does. But that kind of resonated with me because that's why I went to him. Is I felt weak. I felt like I needed to defend myself. So I went and started learning martial arts. It's a bit different for me because I started beforehand. I'm a blue-white belt, and basically the rest of the group just started. So it's a little bit different for me. But I just felt weak, so I went to him, and it seemed like he would help strengthen my ego. And what we call the ego is just the sense of self. It's the lens that we view the world through. And then the final thing that kind of stuck with me was from the movie The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. And it was the main character, Dan, has an ego crisis. Oh, spoiler alert. Forgot to say that. Sorry. He has an ego crisis where he has a dream that he's actually fighting his ego. And his sense of self is that he's a gymnast, he's an athlete, he's talented, he's going places. But then he shatters his leg, and all that goes down the drain. So he has a crisis because he can't be what he thought he was anymore. So the scene is that he's fighting with the gymnast self on top of a building, and he just realizes that he has to let go. But it's a very violent way to do things, because first off, the dream is that at the end the ego just falls off and hits the ground of a 100-foot building. And the fact that something bad had to happen in order for him to have that crisis. So I think the purpose of this immersion is to try to help people on the way to get to that crisis without having something bad happen to them. Because if we let go of how we think we see the world, we can actually see the world. And from there, we can actually try to help. Because another thing that stuck with me is that a lot of the times when we're actually trying to help people, it's really just we're being aggressive and trying to get our own views satisfied. And we're not actually seeing the situation as it really is. So, those are a couple things that just stuck with me over the first week. So, yeah. I think I'll see you guys again next week, and I think it's what we're going to be doing over the next week. So, yeah.